What I try to do is I try to be playful with the fans, so they ask questions, and I kind of I give playful answers, not snarky, not belittling anybody, but just kind of teasing them back, and they love it. People. Does anybody have a question, sir?
Yeah. Can you talk about how you work with social media, bringing in the fans in? Like, do you take input, you read comments?
I joined Twitter in January. I now have 32,000 followers on Twitter, and these people are incredibly devoted. They draw pictures of me, they make T-shirts of me. It's kind of scary. My wife is not interested in wearing these T-shirts. You know, they ask me questions. Are we going to see this? Are we going to do this? They just want to. And what I do is a lot of people use Twitter to say, you know, hey, watch the show at 9 p.m. You know, who gives a shit? What I try to do is I try to be playful with the fans, so they ask questions, and I kind of give playful answers, not snarky, not belittling anybody, but just kind of teasing them back, and they love it. People actually love the answers that I give in Twitter, because I'm trying to continue the play as we're making the show, when the show comes on in October. So I think Twitter is a very valuable tool. Anyone else? Yes, sir, in the green.
With the clip you showed, you changed.
With the clip you showed, you showed something that happens very early on in the comic books. Can you talk about working with the creator of the comic books on the writing staff and what that process is like, taking the existing material and working it much later and changing it around?
Yeah, well, we knew that we were going to have Shane's death, that we were going to pin the arc for the second season. We did not, in the comic book, Carl shoots human Shane and Rick puts down zombie Shane. That didn't feel rewarding to me because, you know, it's our main character. I wanted him to be as active as possible. If he's the protagonist of the game, we need to open it up. He doesn't use a gun here, he uses a knife. That was my decision, to make it as personal as possible. I felt the audience would be invested in, wow, that guy could do anything. That would be worthwhile. In this particular piece, you know, the network, I will say, wanted to cut out after the death, not go into the horror elements. That was something that we brought in to keep it going. So we felt like that was worthwhile, that we had earned that. And you know, Robert's in the room. He's a fully creative force. A lot of times we disagree. A lot of times we work together. If there's a strong disagreement, it just means we have to work harder to find an answer that we both are happy with. But he's been fantastic to work with, and he actually wants to change up the comic book. He doesn't want a faithful. I know Game of Thrones does a pretty faithful adaptation. He's not interested in doing that. He realizes the show's its own animal. Anyone else? No? Oh, did you have a question? No? Okay. Yes, go ahead.
What didn't you get to say, and can you use your time to say it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it.
About the finales, I squeezed that in. You know, it's just, if you think about it, you know, the way we approached The Shield was, you know, Vic Mackey, it's not just about his sense of justice, it's about he likes to, you know, do evil things. People know he's doing evil things, he knows they know, and he does it with a wink and a smile, and he wants to get away. He enjoys that game. That's where I first started developing this game theory. And then I could see that when shows, you know, sometimes people scratch their heads at a finale, and I think it's not necessarily about plot. It's just that I believe audiences enter into a type of social contract with the creators of a show to play a game. And if they don't get their answers, they don't feel it satisfying. They feel the rules were changed at the last minute, and they sort of feel shafted. Yes?
Could you just, I don't need a mic, could you just repeat, I know you said it earlier, the name of the game theory book?
Oh, it's Finite and Infinite Games by James P. Carse. It's really a great, wonderful book. So, yes.
Yes, I'm wondering if there was a challenge selling this series, because it is kind of a novel that you did an series, you were one of the first. So were there specific challenges to set it up and to convince people that it was worthy?
Well, I did not sell the series. Frank Darabont and Galen Hurd did. I became showrunner last year, but I think it was originally developed at NBC. And then maybe brought to FX. Joel could probably answer that. And brought to FX, and then AMC took a chance. And I give AMC a lot of credit. You know, they have Mad Men, Breaking Bad. These are very kind of slow, thoughtful shows, incredibly well done. And this is different. But I know that AMC has a thing where they like to develop shows based on film genre. That if there's some root in film, that's my understanding. So you can see that this obviously is drawing on horror, but playing to the best of what we can get out of a character dramas on basic cable.
Glenn, does this mean that you have sort of an idea, you and Robert have an idea of how you eventually want the show to end?
We do. I don't know if Robert agrees with me, but I do, and I think I know what it means. So what it all comes up to, but. I think if we're faithful to the comic book, if I like this theory about keeping things in motion, keeping the audience on the edge of its seat, and we'll see how long people want to play. Okay, well, oh yes, one more?
Yeah.
And then I guess that
when
would
I was growing up, zombies were R-rated and they were for adults. And I mean, you talked about how this is a family show and how people are enjoying it.
Yeah.
So where do you think that line got sort of bridged where this kind of violence is okay on television and it's got such a huge following amongst young people and stuff?
That's a great question. You know, a lot of the show is rated TV-14. Okay, it's not TVMA. And I think that's part of my job as the showrunner. If you notice, I personally have brought down the amount of blood splatter in the show. These headshots, you know, if you look at season 1, the producers at that time really did love blood. I think a little bit goes a long way. Not that I'm tailoring a show for kids. I'm not. I certainly don't think that clip is, you know, rated G by any means. But I am mindful of it, you know, and these are questions that we face on every basic cable show, where you can, you know, where do you push the envelope, what's too violent, what's gratuitous, and fortunately we have a great support network with, it's not just me, it's the other producers, the writers. You know, when we write a script, we write a 48-page script, the writers and producers, not even the network's been great, they're only sending me a page or two of notes. The writers are sending each other 30 pages of notes on a 48-page script. So there's an incredible internal vetting process that we really go through. So it's that an internal process.
Glenn, I have a question for you.
Yes.
I have an English boyfriend who's constantly having nightmares about zombies.
Wait, where are you?
I'm at the back.
Oh, okay.
I want to know if you have nightmares about zombies, because this whimpering beside me is driving me crazy.
Wait, what's the question? Say it again.
So my boyfriend is from England,
Yes.
from London, and he constantly has nightmares about zombies.
Right.
And I want to know if you have nightmares about zombies.
Not at all. Zombies are my friends. Okay. Thank you, everyone.